While out with her friends, Lisa laughed, proclaiming, "He's too scared to ever leave me. He'd crumble without me." Her friends nodded in agreement, while I stayed silent, sipping my drink. The following week, I accepted a job offer in a different city, packed my belongings, and left without a word. Weeks later, when Lisa returned, expecting to plead for reconciliation, she froze upon discovering someone else was already living in my home. The end of our relationship wasn't marked by a dramatic confrontation. It was sealed with a quiet, confident laugh in a bustling, crowded bar. Lisa was holding court with her friends, a group of women who seemed to believe life was an endless social event. I lingered on the edge of the group, nursing a beer, playing the role of the quiet, supportive boyfriend, a role I had mastered over our 2 years together. They were discussing another couple's recent breakup, with one friend commenting on how pathetic the guy had been. That's when Lisa chimed in. She took a delicate sip of her cocktail, glanced at her friend, and gestured vaguely toward me with her glass. "Oh, that would never happen with us," she said, her voice carrying over the chatter. "He's too scared to leave me. He'd fall apart without me." She laughed, and her friends joined in, nodding as if she'd stated an undeniable truth. They glanced at me not with cruelty, but with a kind of pitying certainty. I was the dependable, introverted guy who worked from home and had little social life beyond her. To them, Lisa was the sun, and I was merely a minor planet orbiting her. I didn't react. I didn't argue or defend myself. I just stayed quiet, taking a slow sip of my beer. But inside, something shifted. Something went cold and clear. It was the kind of clarity you feel after a sudden jolt, like when the chaos of a moment settles and you can see every detail with precision. Lisa didn't just believe I depended on her, she reveled in it. My perceived weakness was her source of strength, her assurance of control. For 2 years, I had shaped my life around her. I'm a senior data architect for a major financial firm, a demanding job I can do remotely. I'm naturally reserved, preferring deep conversations and small gatherings over noisy parties. Lisa mistook my quiet nature for fragility, my preference for staying in as a sign of reliance. She saw herself as my entire social world, my tether to a life she thought I was too timid to create on my own. In that moment, her words didn't just sting, they liberated me. She had revealed the fatal flaw in our relationship, and I, a problem solver by nature, saw the solution clearly. I stayed for another 20 minutes playing my part. Then I leaned over, kissed her cheek, and said I was tired and heading home. She waved me off, already engrossed in another story. "Okay, babe, don't wait up," she said, barely glancing my way. I walked out of that bar not as her dependent boyfriend, but as a man plotting a bold reclaiming of his own life. She thought I'd collapse without her. She was about to learn that I had been the one holding her up, and I was ready to let her fall under her own weight. She assumed I was too scared to leave. She didn't realize I was already gone. It's been a week since I left that bar and stepped into my new life. To Lisa, it probably seemed like I was giving her the silent treatment, a petty tantrum she was patiently waiting out. In reality, it was the most decisive, productive week of my life. The advice to go completely silent was spot on. No drama, no confrontation, just a methodical erasure of my old life. When I got home that night, I opened my work laptop. For the past year, I had been turning down offers from recruiters pitching opportunities in cities like Denver, Portland, and Charlotte. I had declined them politely, thinking I was building a life with her. One recruiter in particular had been persistent about a role in Charlotte, leading a new data infrastructure team at a fast-growing fintech company. A significant step up in responsibility and pay. I found his email from 2 months prior. At 11 p.m. on a Saturday, I wrote, "Hi Mark, hope you're well. Is that director position in Charlotte still available? If so, I'm interested in discussing further. Best, Ethan." His reply came in under 10 minutes. "Ethan, great to hear from you. It is. Can you talk Monday?" While Lisa was sleeping off her cocktails, I was preparing for the biggest career move of my life. The interviews, conducted over video calls on Monday and Tuesday, were intense and technical, exactly the kind of challenge I thrived on. By Wednesday afternoon, I had a formal offer. A 40% salary increase, a substantial signing bonus, and equity. I signed and returned the contract within the hour. My start date was the following Monday, giving me 5 days to relocate my entire life. My skills in logistics, honed by managing complex systems at work, made it manageable. I own my condo, purchased before I met Lisa. She paid a small amount of rent each month, a fraction of its actual cost, which she usually spent on clothes and outings. She had no legal claim to the space. Next, I called my younger brother, Tom, and his wife, Emily. They had married 6 months ago and were living in a cramped apartment an hour outside the city, saving for a house. They're two of the kindest, most hardworking people I know, deeply devoted to each other. I told Tom directly, "I'm moving to Charlotte for a new job. I leave Sunday. I want you and Emily to move into my condo. The furniture, the TV, everything is yours. Live here rent-free as long as you need to save for your house. Just cover utilities and HOA fees. It's my wedding gift to you." He was stunned, thinking I was joking. When he realized I was serious, he got emotional. They came over the next day to see the place, now as their new home. Watching their joy as they planned where to put their things was one of the best moments of my life. It confirmed I was on the right path. Then came the packing. I hired a long-distance moving company for my essentials, clothes, books, computer equipment, and a few personal items. The high-end furniture, top-of-the-line appliances, and 75-inch OLED TV I left for Tom and Emily. I had movers pack all of Lisa's belongings, every piece of clothing, every shoe, every makeup palette, and sent them to a storage unit a few miles away, prepaid for 3 months. During this time, Lisa's texts escalated from annoyed, "Are you still sulking?" to angry, "This is so immature, Ethan, just talk to me," to slightly concerned, "Okay, I'm worried, are you okay?" I never responded, muting her messages. On Saturday, I changed the condo's locks and wrote a brief letter, enclosing it with the storage unit key, access code, address, and a cashier's check refunding every cent of rent she'd paid me. I wanted no part of her money. I left the envelope with the building's concierge with instructions to give it only to Lisa. On Sunday, the movers took my things, and Tom and Emily arrived with their own. I handed them the new keys, explained the smart home system, and pointed out the champagne I'd left in the fridge. We hugged, I wished them well, and I drove 1,000 miles to Charlotte. I didn't look back. Lisa thought I was too scared to even argue. She had no idea I had dismantled our life and built a new one 1,000 miles away without a single word to her. She thought I was still nearby, sulking. She was in for a shock. It's been a month since I moved to Charlotte, and it's been the best month of my life. My new job is challenging, rewarding, and surrounded by brilliant people. I found a great downtown apartment and am starting to explore the city. The silence from my old life has been profoundly peaceful, but I knew the storm would eventually break. It did last night, and I got a front row seat to the aftermath through my brother Tom. He called around 10 p.m., his voice a mix of amusement and disbelief. "Dude," he said, "you won't believe what just happened." He recounted the past few weeks from his perspective. About 3 weeks ago, Lisa went to the condo building after a week of my absence. The concierge handed her my letter. Tom wished he could have seen her face as her world unraveled. She found her belongings in the storage unit, tried calling me, my number was disconnected, and emailed me filtered to trash. She was locked out, cut off, and in the dark. According to a mutual acquaintance, Lisa's initial reaction was fury, telling her friends I'd had a breakdown and vanished, painting herself as the victim. But her story crumbled as her friends noticed she was suddenly homeless and broke. The free dinners, fancy apartment, and my financial support were gone, and without them her allure faded. She moved in with a friend, a tense temporary arrangement. For weeks she convinced herself I'd done this to punish her and would come crawling back, unable to survive without her. Last night she decided to play her final card, a tearful apology. She showed up at Tom and Emily's door, ready to cry and forgive me, expecting to fix everything. Tom and Emily were watching a movie when a loud knock interrupted. Tom opened the door to find Lisa, her eyes red, her face set in rehearsed sorrow, ready to deliver her speech. She looked past Tom, expecting me. "Ethan," she began, her voice breaking dramatically, "I know I messed up. I was wrong. Please, can we talk? I'll do anything. I can't live without you." Tom, a friendly guy, was baffled by this stranger. "I'm sorry," he said. "I think you have the wrong apartment. I'm Tom." Lisa froze, her performance collapsing. She looked at him, then past him, noticing the changes. Tom and Emily's wedding photo, Hannah, different pillows, Emily's shoes by the door, not Lisa's style. "What?" she stammered. "Where's Ethan? This is his apartment." "Oh, Ethan's my brother," Tom said cheerfully. "He moved to Charlotte a month ago for a job. He's letting my wife and me live here while we save for a house. It's incredibly generous of him." Emily appeared, smiling kindly. Tom said Lisa's face was unforgettable, her entire reality shattered. The story she'd told herself, that I was pining nearby, was a lie. I was thriving 1,000 miles away, having replaced her life in my home with a better one for people I cared about. The home, the furniture, the lifestyle she thought was hers was gone, gifted to my brother. "He's in Charlotte," she whispered. "Yeah, he loves it there," Tom said. "He's doing great." Lisa stood in silence, her fake tears replaced by a hollow look. Her belief in my weakness, her sense of control, was obliterated. She wasn't in charge. She was an inconvenience at a happy couple's door. She turned and left without a word. Tom and Emily felt a twinge of pity, but were mostly amazed at my meticulous exit. As I hung up and gazed at the Charlotte skyline from my balcony, I felt no anger, no pity, just peace. Lisa thought I'd